Hello, I'm Rebecca. Welcome to my Simple Country Life. Today we're going to be doing just a little walk and talk around the garden, talk about plans for 2026, and just hope everybody had a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Winter Solstice, whatever you celebrate. I hope it was good. So let's get you turned around and we'll walk and talk. I had planned on doing winter sowing for this video, but for winter sowing, the temperatures need to be consistently below 50 degrees. Well, they've been in the 60s and 70s. So, hopefully next week I can do the winter sowing. But my first garden bed that I want to get set up for the spring will be these barrels and raised beds for berries and fruit. And I do need to dump or get all these irises out of these concrete things, and they're all going to be planted where you see all those bags of dirt along the fence line. The irises are going to go all the way along that fence line, because down in that corner there's a clump of irises that have naturalized, and then down here in this corner I started planting irises. So all the irises I have are going to be planted along that fence line. So that's going to be a project for the spring. This is a winter project I can be working on to get these all level and start getting them filled with leaves or mulch or whatever, pardon my shadow. And over here is going to be the veggie garden. We bought some composite deck boards that we're going to use to make, I've got enough right now to make two 2x6 by 1 foot beds. And so we'll get those made and we'll bring you along when we make those. And then I also want to do 2 3 foot by 6 foot raised beds and get them all level over here, which is going to be fun because there is a considerable slope. But that's going to be another winter, early spring project. And then let's go over by the garage and talk. Hello, it's Editing Rebecca. Looking back at some footage I took at the beginning of December, and I'm going to put it in here to give a little bit more explanation about the side of the garage, and then we'll go back to where I was recording. Between the garage and that wooden post that the gate attaches to, that's 7 feet. So that's 7 feet deep, and down the side of the garage is to here is 27 feet. And then over here from the concrete of the garage entry to this corner is 9.5 feet. And then this here in the front, I can bring it out 5 or 6 feet, or really, well, I can't bring it out too far because we do drive through here. We drive through this area. So, but I could definitely bring it out 5 or 6 feet. So 9.5 feet by 5 or 6 feet. And then we'll have 7 feet out this way, and then 27 more feet that way. So, I mean, I could even put a big lean-to greenhouse over on this side between this end and the window. This was a gas hookup for when my husband had propane heat hooked up to a heater in the garage, which could still stay there. And I'd still have a good amount of space if I wanted to put a lean-to greenhouse in this area, as long as it's not more, as long as it's between the water and the gas and it doesn't stick out more than 7 feet. If I put a big greenhouse, we potentially could put it here. This is well, turn you around. Okay, so this way is south facing, and then the back of the greenhouse would be up against the garage, which would protect it from the north winds, and that would still get sun from the east, from the south, and the west, and have wind protection. So that might be, so let me take some more measurements. If I have a opening cut through here, like if we just take all this fencing out from that corner post there all the way through here, and I just have a clear walkway over here, I'm more likely to come over here and do stuff. because I am a lazy gardener. I do like taking the path of least resistance. I'm not big on carrying heavy things around obstacles, and that's just me. And I have water, and I can run electric off that pole, or I can run electric through that window, and I can have water and I can have electric, and I have easy access to what I need for a greenhouse or for gardening or whatever. That is some potential spring plants. Not that I don't still have to level out the berry bushes and apple tree barrels and beds and stuff, and that I don't have to still build beds and set up for the veggie garden, and that I don't have already tons of things to do. Let's dream about bigger and more expensive projects, because 'tis the season. Why not? Okay, as we come off our deck and we walk this way towards the garage, we're going to be taking out this old fenced garden bed area. All the rest of those cinder blocks will be getting moved, and so all that fence is going to come down, and I think to where the gate post is, well, to this corner post here. I'd like to have all of this area open to the garage, because I've been measuring along the garage, and let's just go on over there. But yeah, all this needs to come out. We've talked about maybe moving the propane tanks to make it easier to back out the camper. So we'll see if that happens, but I know I definitely want all this fencing to come out to have a more of a straight shot to the garage, because I know me, if it's not convenient, I'm probably not going to mess with it too much. And I want it to be more convenient to come over here and work with the pots in front of the garage. And I had thought about getting a mini greenhouse, one that's like 2 feet by 3 feet, and just putting it over here somewhere to, because they're like $300-400, and to see if I would actually use a greenhouse. But we have a lot of materials around here that could be used for a greenhouse, and so let me go show you some of them. Over here we have a collection of storm windows that were taken out of the house in the early to mid 80s when they got new windows. So we have a whole bunch of windows. I can measure and see what can be used and what can't be used. Somewhere we have some metal siding. Let me see if I can find it. Had to ask my husband to move his truck so we could get a good shot of these. These are the corrugated metal that was the roof on our chicken coop and run. And I'm thinking maybe I can use that around the base of the greenhouse, because I don't want glass from top to bottom. I like having the bottom kind of closed off, because that's, you know, going to be below the shelves and where you're going to have storage and stuff more so than plants. So corrugated metal on the bottom, storm windows on the top, and possibly polycarbonate for the roof. And then you have to figure out a venting system and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of maybe a plan. Maybe I want to build my own greenhouse. I'm sure my husband would help me, but I built a chicken coop mostly by myself, so I'm thinking, why can't I build a greenhouse? That would be probably a fall project. I am going to be working on winter sowing seeds, like I said. Also, we'll be setting up, let's find something better to look at while I talk, just a second. So I'll just share a walk along the long fence border as I talk. Also, we'll be setting up wire shelves in our bedroom with shop lights that my patron St. Kathy, my sissy, ordered and sent to me. And so I'll be setting that up with y'all. I'm gathering supplies for starting seeds. I've got seeds. I bought a little seed organizer thing, and so I'm looking forward to sharing all of that with y'all. So next week it'll probably be winter sowing, and it'll be later on, more towards spring, 6 to 8 weeks before our last frost, which is mid to late April, before I do any seed starting indoors. But, oh, and my husband got me another bottle tree. I don't have it set up yet. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put it. I was going to put it down there in that corner, but I've kind of changed my mind about that. But he bought me a second bottle tree and some green and blue bottles to go on it. So anyway, my plans for 2026 is working on the berry barrels and raised beds, and working on the vegetable raised beds, and hopefully getting a DIY greenhouse built before fall. So we'll see what all, oh, and doing the iris border along the front fence. So we'll see what happens, what gets done. I will be posting this on Monday, December 29th, my husband's 59th birthday. So very happy birthday to you, sweetheart. And to him and everyone else, I hope you have a very happy new year, a healthy, happy, productive 2026. I appreciate all of you. Thank you to all my subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed and you enjoy watching my videos, please consider subscribing. Please like and comment and share with your friends. But I really appreciate y'all coming along with me this year and growing with me as I learn about making videos and gardening. I appreciate you all so much, and y'all come back.